Got a two-step method to try and get their hand on the mat, or their elbow on the mat, or their shoulder on the mat. So now we're going to look at how to get their hip on the mat. If you said to someone, could you hip bump sweep me from combat? So mainly the hip bump sweep's always been taught from the knee position to get that across the root. If you said to someone, could you hip bump them from combat base, which is just putting one foot up, you'd probably say, nah, you're not going to get it from there. Or if Carl stands up with 2 feet, you're definitely not going to have it, get the hip bump from here. But if we use that scenario, Danaher's golden rule was put them to the hip first. You find this is the best time to hit the hip bump sweep. So from here, let's look at the scenario where Carl wants to stand up inside my guard. We haven't addressed top position yet, but if we have time at the end of this mesocycle, we might spend a few weeks. If you're up against someone who's got a really good close guard, you really do not want to stay on your knees. And if we look at the vulnerabilities, there are 4 vulnerabilities: getting this arm across the center line, getting the arm to here, and putting his hand on the mat, which you haven't addressed, putting him down to the hip. There are more things I can do to Carl when he's on his knees than when they're standing. He really wants to stand up in the guard, but for him to stand up, there is a process, and he will put one foot up first. So when we're playing the game and Carl just decides to put a foot up, I can hit the hip bump from here as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to put an underhook, and I want to get the crook of my arm under Carl's foot from this position. Okay. And now from there, all I'm doing is I want to put his hip on the mat. We can go down 2 scenarios from there. Once I pull this through and drop Carl to the hip, now it's just a battle. My hips are on top of his. Okay, I'm going to open my guard, come up to the head, and coming up the hand. If you notice, I've already, once I put him on the hip, I'm bringing this arm across. Now we're kind of the same height, but what's the advantage I have? Anybody? My hips are on top of his. So if Carl tries to come up on top, I'm getting into that position. He tries to body lock me and do all that stuff. Can I take a step? This is the best scenario to hit the hip bump. Get him down to the hip first. Again, so from close guard, anytime Carl goes to combat base and he's in the process of standing up, all I'm going to do is I don't even need about tying this hand up. I'm just going to get the crook of my arm around his leg from here. I can either put the hip on the mat on the same side. The second I do that, I unhook my underhook, I build a base, and I'm trying to get my head the same height as his. Okay, my next goal is I want to get this knee to the mat. So I bring this arm across, and I physically turn my right knee towards the mat and curl my right foot under his butt. Now it's just a matter of, we've looked at this chest time position, it's such a good position. If Carl's hand's still out there, I will collect it and I take that step. I can also put him on the other hip. So from here, he's in my close guard. I'm not going to worry too much about grips. The minute he goes to combat base, puts that out. Sometimes if I can't collapse, I really want to pull Carl's right foot towards me, and I put him on that hip, if that makes sense. Sometimes if I can't actually pull that foot towards me, I'll just turn my knees and I'll put him on this hip. That makes sense? And then from there, I don't want this hand keeping me kind of back, so I'm already building a base. Okay? From that position, I'm looking to turn my knee towards the mat, foot comes under, my head's higher than his. Again, I'll engage the hips. He cannot take the weight or put your hand. He cannot go for the body lock from here. Go for the body lock. Just coming over. So my hips are engaged the whole time. So now he has to keep that posted. I just collect it, just like we covered last time. Crook of my arm and his arm, and bring his right hand towards my left as I hit him with my hip and take a big step. So one more time in there. Don't worry too much about grips. The minute he does that, I just put an underhook on that leg, and then I pull it towards me and I turn my hip to get him down. Then I build the base. Once I build my base, I want my head higher than his. Turn my knee towards the mat. This foot comes under. I hit him on my hip and he'd probably post with his hand, and then I just collect it. Or from here, he posts his foot, and he tried to kind of bring it this way, and I couldn't really get the bend and what I want to put him on the same side. I could lift my hip and put him on that side. Again, see the way he posted on his elbow and his hand. It's the same scenario. Again, sometimes this hand can restrict. We could go off topic and start to hit arm bars from there, but we just swim inside here. I'm in that chest down position. My hips are engaged. They're on top of his. Connect the arm. Hit him with your hip. And we're trying to sweep him forward, not to the side. So,